So thanks for taking time out of your schedule to join us. We have a lot of great sessions planned for the day. But before we get into the actual program, we wanted to give you a bigger view of kind of why we're doing what we do and how we look at innovation, what we think is going to happen for the future of our industry. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Dennis to kick things off on that front.
All right, great. Thanks, Betsy. Really appreciate it. And thank you everyone for joining us today. You know, what we want to talk to you about is the innovation opportunities that really center around this massive supply-demand gap that exists in providing new homes to America. And for us as an organization, it's all about increasing the availability of attainable housing for middle-income households. And we look to do that through our network of production home builders. So prior to the pandemic, there were a number of trends that were already at play that we will discuss throughout the course of this program, but they were only exaggerated by the variability of life over the past 2 years. I want to call your attention to a data point that's highlighted on this slide, and the first one of that 1.7 million shortfall of homes. Now, that was mostly a result of lower production after the Great Recession, but going into the 2020s, this is something that we've already had to overcome. As we look ahead, we'll need about a total of 15.5 million homes from 2021 to 2030 to meet new household formation, catch up on the backlog, deliver enough second homes, and replace the teardowns. So what we see here is not only do we have a big mountain to overcome from the last decade, but looking forward, there's a lot that we have to fix and a lot of opportunity for us to fix it within the industry. A major segment of the market impacted by this shortage is entry-level homes. Today, only about 10% of starts represent this market segment, whereas in the 1980s, it was 40%. And as a result of current market dynamics, housing prices have jumped over 30% in the past 2 years. Now, it's hard to say whether or not this will stick, but many experts agree that homes are simply going to be permanently more expensive going forward. So again, a lot of affordability and attainability issues that we need to address as an industry, but that creates a lot of opportunity. Now, as we talk about cost and buying power, we're faced with a rising interest rate environment. That's something that's undeniable over the last 4 months that we've all seen. We have to keep in mind that this has the potential to price out nearly 3 million Americans with every 50 basis point jump we see on the 30-year mortgage. Again, making it even harder for those limited entry-level buyers, or the limited amount of entry-level homes to be secured by the buyer. At the Alliance, it's our goal to give you the tools and resources you need to think differently in delivering on this unmet market demand. And through the course of today's sessions, we're going to tell you a little bit more about how we're going to do that. And then over the course of the presentation that Betsy and I are going to give just now, we'll be able to dig into how we share that content. So together, we're going to tackle the pressure points that our industry is facing, looking at productivity, talent, and sustainability, just to mention a few. Get the next slide. Thank you, Betsy. Appreciate that. So look, we're digging deeper into solutions and programs that enable us to keep those essential to our communities in the neighborhoods they serve, while providing a broader spectrum of solutions for all middle-income households. With this in mind, our focus is lower density housing solutions, and I want you to think somewhere in the 10 to 16 dwellings per acre range. And I'll talk a little bit about how we get there when we look at this, by focusing on the content in the slide. But I believe you're all familiar with the missing middle housing concept that was introduced a few years back by Optico's design. We want to take that imagery and that model and expand on it a bit. So our approach is similar in terms of building typologies, but we have an added emphasis on strategic land use and resource utilization for what we call right-sized single-family detached homes. And you'll notice that is kind of going to be on the left end of the spectrum here. So we lead market engagement activities geared towards solutions more on the left side of what we're showing on the Opticus imagery here. But we also have an eye on the opportunities to advance what's happening to the right side of the spectrum. So meeting all this unmet opportunity calls for collaborative R&D investment to make home building better, faster, more valuable for all players. In a tight margin industry with limited direct R&D investment, the Alliance Network was created to de-risk adopting new concepts. And we're going to talk to you a lot more about that. But to make your interaction with our content easier, we've set up the Alliance Homes model to explore innovation opportunities through the eyes of a leadership team at a mid-sized builder, a builder who's looking to grow exponentially over the next 5 to 7 years. So not only are they thinking about the challenges of today, but they're looking how to best position themselves to capture the opportunities of tomorrow. Now, with this model, we've created a pathway to explore core interest areas of the Alliance Homes team that, with our network's help, we've identified as critical to their success both today, 3 to 5 years, and 10 years out. So now Betsy's going to explain a little bit more about our approach to innovation at the Alliance and how we define these interest areas.
Okay, great. Thanks, Dennis. So what we focus on may change from year to year specifically, but at the heart of what we do, we always look at innovation through 4 key lenses. So if you look at the chart on the right there, the center piece is the business lens. So from a business perspective, we're looking at the mission, vision, values, organizational models, and revenue streams that might exist within home building organizations, keeping those in mind. From a people perspective, we look at the individuals, relationships, and the skill sets that we need to succeed. And we consider teams both inside and outside of an organization. And we also look at customers and allies from a people perspective. On the product front, we're looking at how we deliver and offer value, whether it's the dwellings that would be provided if we were a home builder, or if you're a home builder that you're providing, and any value-added services that you might offer as well. And finally, last but not least, we look at the process. So we look at everything in terms of how people, processes, technology, and data are combined to deliver on a company's promise. So as we're looking at innovation that's going on in the industry, as we're looking at huge challenges and issues that people are facing, we apply these lenses and then really decide from there where the best opportunities for innovation lie. And that's really what we focus on from a programming standpoint, and the information that we focus on bringing to light in everything that we do. So for the next few years, Dennis was saying 3 to 5 years and even beyond, these are really the interest areas that we've identified. We've assigned characters to them, people with certain roles that you might identify with if they were part of your team. And we've given each of them missions in each of these areas. So design and build is focused on ensuring operational agility. And for a long time, we've talked about efficiency, we've talked about productivity and profitability. But you're going to hear in our supply chain session today, that's really part of this interest area. You're going to hear that with everything in flux, really agility is now the name of the game. So from a home as a service perspective, we're looking at how can we deliver more value to the end consumer, whether that's looking at different business models, things like build for rent, things like alternative finance options that might make housing more within reach for them, or if it's looking at other service opportunities to extend the relationship beyond what you would traditionally do in a for sale environment. The third area, ESG. I think we all hear those 3 little letters that really need to be defined for our industry yet. That's really our focus, is how do we define ESG, looking at all 3 components and how that can help us drive greater business resilience in the housing market. And what I mean by that is, how can that help us really ensure that we'll have access to the financing and the land that we need moving forward, since a lot of those expectations for ESG are being set by investors and by government entities. The bottom 2, really, we can't do the top 3 without the right people and without the right technology and data. So they're kind of an underpinning and something that we look at in those upper 3 areas as well. From a talent perspective, we're looking at how we need to redefine roles based on what's happening in those top 3 areas within a builder's organization, what that may mean to the types of skill sets that you're going to identify and engage in your company, how we can overcome the fact that we're losing people, and how we can effectively attract people and keep them both in the industry and in individual businesses is our focus for talent. And then finally, tech and data we'd see as a huge opportunity for working smarter rather than harder. So how can we maximize the effectiveness of the talent that we do have, whether it's people internal to our business, whether it's our trade contractors, smartly connecting digitally to offsite construction providers, whatever the approach might be. And also there's an element of actually being able to attract the right talent. They're going to expect us moving forward to be a much more digitized industry. So those are the 5 buckets that we're looking at, and we'll, over the course of this year and over the course of the next couple of years, we'll keep defining what some of the innovation opportunities are within those buckets that we can go after. We'll continue to look at it from, if we were a builder, what would we do? And then also allow you to connect to the people and the stories and the innovation pathways that are closest to the things that you're trying to accomplish in your own business. So we're going to start organizing our content that way on our website as well.
Great. Thank you, Betsy, for that additional background on how we're framing the storyline. So I just want to give you some information on where you'll be able to follow the Alliance Homes team and their journey. So last year we introduced our new website. And what we've decided to do is integrate the Alliance Home Story directly in that platform. So you'll be able to find 2 points of entry for the Alliance Homes journey. One is going to be through the About tab in the upper left-hand corner. You can see the upper orange arrow pointing in there. And then the second is going to be through the locked carousel there, just about at the center of the center top of the page. Right now it says about our network on there, but this will be the 2 points of entry to start the journey. So baked into our website, it allows for a seamless transition from Alliance Homes directly into the content that we've already curated for a specific journey, to Betsy's point, as she described previously. So I just want to give you a quick example using some of the content on the right of the screen here. So in the past, you may have landed in our content library looking for a broader search on a specific subject. But now you'll be able to follow a tailored content channel, solving for specific business opportunities, as Betsy mentioned, but kind of it's organized by a team member or by a specific mission. These channels are where we thread together the market engagement activities, such as panel sessions, expert interviews, road trips, and working group discussions to help you achieve your desired result faster. Before we kick things off today, I just want to talk a little bit about our network, because everything that we've just described is only possible because of the collective intelligence of those actively involved. And I want to say thanks to many of our working group participants, which I see floating through the attendee queue as they're rolling in throughout the course of this introduction. But we are a national network of over 200 companies from across the entire home building ecosystem, with a roughly 1-to-1 ratio of housing provider to industry expert. And the industry expert is everyone that enables those housing providers to do what they do on a day-to-day basis. The partners listed on the slide that we're sharing are a special subset of that network. These are 28 organizations directly supporting our efforts, nearly half of which have been with us since the very beginning. The value we deliver on a day-to-day basis through the programming like today's event is only possible because of their commitment to market transformation. So on behalf of the entire team and everybody in the network, I want to say thank you to these companies and their commitment to us. So earlier, Betsy introduced you to the Alliance Homes team and the interest areas they're focused on for their organization. Well, today's session will provide deeper insights along the journeys for those areas highlighted on the screen. We have design plus build, we have ESG and talent. So without getting into too much detail here, but allowing Betsy the opportunity to unfold the sessions with the experts we've engaged, I'm going to hand the mic back to her and kick things off.
Okay, great. Thank you, Dennis. So again, great list of experts today. The idea being in each of these sessions that they will really kick off some of the ideas, some of the challenges that they're facing, some of the insights that they've gained as they're pursuing innovation in these 3 areas. And as an attendee, you'll have various opportunities to participate. At the very least, in each of the sessions, you can post comments and ideas in the chat function. And in some of the sessions, you'll actually be able to turn your camera on. We'd encourage you to do that, and your microphone on, and actually participate directly in discussions and connect with others in the network. So I just want to give you a high-level view of the entire day. We tie each of these, as Dennis said, back to 3 of the key topic areas, interest areas, I should say, that we look at. The first one of the sessions on this list, the one at 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific, is focused on supply chain perspectives. It's in the what we would say our design plus build area. Monica Wheaton from ECI Solutions is going to help, Software Solutions is going to help us focus that conversation. And on her panel, we have a trade contractor who's very innovative, a home building operations guru, and a supply chain expert, many of whom may look familiar to you guys. But that should be a great discussion. It's going to be chat only in terms of providing questions and input. I would encourage you to join us for that session. The next session is going to focus on talent. Earlier this year, we had a session at the International Builders Show where we engaged some of the universities and other programs to look at how we redefine roles in housing, what skill sets are needed, and how they can better serve us in terms of training people to join the industry. This time we're going to switch things up a little bit and focus more on the industry side in terms of attracting and retaining talent with a national home builder representative, Ralph Baha from Century Communities, Rich from Synergos, who's a super trade, and then Maya works with Hall Williams Executive Search. So she's actually working to hire people in both prop tech space and the real estate space. So it'll be a good mixture of perspectives on that front. That is a session that we'll want you to turn your microphones and your cameras off at first, but we are going to either have a group discussion or break into smaller rooms for that session. The one afterward is focused on driving social resiliency in housing and community development. When we hear ESG, we hear E a lot. At least we do a lot. Environmental is very important, but certainly with COVID, we've seen the social aspects of resiliency, one of which is attainability of housing is extremely important. So we've got two developers who are going to share their insights. And many of you probably know Terry in the center there, who helps do branding and strategizing for community development. And we'll share some insights from the Well Buildings Institute with a bit of a platform that you might be able to use how you think about social resiliency in housing and communities. And then finally, that session is going to roll directly into a group discussion, very casual, definitely want your cameras on. And that's a nice opportunity to ask whatever questions you have and get connected more personally with folks who are participating in the discussion. So hope you can join us for multiple sessions today. And bring your thoughts and ideas, because we start with these folks on the right who are our experts, but really the conversation gets special when the people in the room also contribute ideas that we can build on. So looking forward to those discussions. It should be a fun afternoon. And to that end, George Casey would be so proud. We're 2 minutes early, for those of you who know him. But we're going to take a quick bio break and have you join us at 12:30, which would be 9:30 Pacific, for our next session focused on supply chain perspectives. If you are purely an attendee and not presenting in that session, for all of the sessions today, you'll just keep clicking on the buttons on the agenda on our attend page for this event. But we look forward to seeing you in a few minutes, and thanks for joining us and helping us set the stage so far. So we'll see you again soon. Bye.